What's up, everyone? So on this episode, we are going to be talking about Jada Pinkett Smith and the singer August Alsina. So for those of you who are not familiar with August Alsina, he is a singer, age 27 years old. And Jada Pinkett Smith, which many of you are very familiar with her, she is a very well-known actress. But for those who are not really familiar with her body of work, she has been married to Will Smith for years. And although they've been married for years, there's been a lot of rumors about the relationship that Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith have. Because they've been married for more than a couple of decades now, and they seem to have a pretty happy relationship. But there have been rumors for years that they have an open relationship. And even if it's not an open so-called relationship, it is more of they have an understanding that you do your thing when you're not around and I'll do my thing when you're not around, but we will respect each other when we are with each other. Now, I haven't followed their relationship for a very long time, and I honestly am not even really familiar with August Alsina's music because it's just not the type of music that I'm into. So I don't really know a whole lot about him. But there were some rumors swirling that she had a relationship with this guy. And he came out with a song which it was referencing a name in the song that he created, which is her middle name, and he was talking about this person just, reaching out to him after the person pretty much blew him off. So a lot of people were giving these assumptions that he was talking about Jada Pinkett Smith, and he even did an interview with the blog The Shade Room, which has millions of followers on social media. But he came out and denied the claims, and a lot of people were speculating that he denied the claims because he was pressured to do so. Well, everybody is talking about it because now August Alsina, he's done an interview with Angela Yee of The Breakfast Club, and although the interview wasn't just about that, this is what a lot of people are talking about because he decided to spill his guts and share his quote unquote his truth about the relationship that he had with her. And he pretty much came out and admitted that, yeah, he was in a relationship with her and he loves her and loved her and had the approval of Will Smith. Like, he basically came out and said that Will Smith said, "Go get her, dog. You go ahead and do your thing with her." And to me, it sounds really strange that someone would come out and make these types of allegations, although people do lie. Of course, people lie. But to come out and say things against people, or I won't even say against people, but about people of the caliber that Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith are at right now, because they would be considered A-list in the Hollywood world, because more so of the work that Will Smith has done versus Jada Pinkett Smith. Although Jada Pinkett Smith is successful as a celebrity in her own right, in terms of Hollywood, I don't believe she would be considered an A-lister. But the work that Will Smith has done over the years in television and movies has garnered him the title of being an A-list Hollywood actor, and she is connected to him through marriage, and they have a couple of kids, and they seem to have had a really long run of their marriage where they've been able to keep things together, but not without speculations and rumors and scandals about there being infidelity and that they possibly have an open relationship. But Jada Pinkett Smith's reps have come out and they have denied the allegations in a short statement. The reps came out and said that the allegations are absolutely not true. But in a conversation that he had with Angela Yee to promote his new album, because he wasn't on this interview to just talk about Jada Pinkett Smith. He was there to promote his new album. And the questions came up because Angela Yee, being a part of the Breakfast Club, this is the type of thing that they do when they interview. They're not just going to ask you about the project that you're working on. That usually comes at the end. They really want the juicy details about like whatever is going on personally that may be of interest to the public, because let's just face it, we live in a world where people like the gossip. They like the personal, intimate details about people's lives that they don't really get to have access to. So when it's like put out there, it's like, yeah, give me more. I want to know more. So he said these things, and he said he's lost money, he's lost some friendships and relationships, all behind this relationship that he had with her. And he said, I think it's because people don't necessarily know the truth, but I've never done anything wrong. So, he's 27 years old. That's still, even though he's an adult, obviously, that's still pretty young. And when someone like Jada Pinkett Smith, who has a whole lot more years of experience in life versus this guy, and she allegedly put whatever she put on this dude to make him fall in love, that's some serious stuff. And from what's being reported, he came into their lives being a friend of their son, Jaden Smith. So to go from being a friend of their child to becoming close-knit with the family, and then possibly being invited into the bedroom of his friend's mom, that's some crazy stuff. Stuff happens in life, and I honestly am not surprised that stuff like this happens. It is definitely not appropriate, but stuff like this happens. I mean, you can think back to stories of teachers that have had relationships with their students, and they were married, and then the husband finds out, or the mother of the son finds out, and they report it to the authorities, and just all kinds of crazy stuff. And so I don't know if it's something in this younger person that awakens something within the older woman, and they feel desired. Maybe the husband isn't really giving them that attention that they crave for, that they may need, and they may not even know that they need. But when somebody is feeding them that attention, then they start to crave it, and they start to grasp a hold of it and give in to those temptations. It can happen. But you, Jada Pinkett Smith, being the adult, the older adult in the situation, you have a responsibility where you should not go there. I don't think that this guy is lying. Of course, I'm going to say allegedly, because I really don't know the 100% truth, because none of us were there. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think that he would come out and say these things if it was not the truth? I don't think that he would. Now, I don't know if Will Smith, being Jada's husband, would come out and say, look, I know you're feeling my wife, so you go ahead and do your thing with her. I don't really see a man doing that. I don't. Even if the man isn't really like feeling his wife like that anymore, there's an ego thing and a pride thing that comes with a lot of men, where I don't see them just stepping back and allowing somebody, knowingly allowing another guy to have their way with their wife, even if they're cheating on their wife. Because I am not saying that it's cool for the husband to be unfaithful to their spouse, but men are very territorial. I'm not saying women aren't either, but men are extremely territorial, and they could be unfaithful and still not want the wife to be with anyone else, because they could be unfaithful. That wife may choose to forgive them, but if that wife chooses to go there and give into temptation and be with somebody else, the man usually is not going to be so forgiving. Even though this is a television show, I can think back to this show Greenleaf that comes on the OWN network, and I believe it was maybe season 4. There's a character on the show. He is the son of the bishop of the church, and he has been unfaithful to his wife on several occasions. They have 2 kids together, and she's been putting up with the bull crap. She knows about what's going on. She's been sticking in there, trying to make it work, and then it comes out that she got a STD or STI, whatever you want to call it, or whatever that one is called. I'm not going to say the name of it, even though it was a television show. She went to the doctor to get tested, and then comes back she has this STI, and so the doctor says you need to let your husband know, and she said he didn't give it to me, so she was unfaithful. And so when she had to let her husband know about it, he was like done. He was like, I don't want to be with you anymore. This is over. How could you? We're not going to say what he called her, but she was so shocked. She was like, after all of the years that I've been with you and all of the stuff that I put up with you and you being unfaithful, and I do something one time and now you don't want to be with me anymore. I can't make a mistake, but you can make them over and over again. I'm saying that, and I'm talking about this show as an example of how art imitates life. A lot of men would be that way. They wouldn't expect to be forgiven. They would hope to be forgiven. But if that woman falls into something, they're not going to be so forgiving. So I say all of that to say, I don't see Will Smith sitting down with this guy and saying, you can have your way with my wife. You can be with her. We're going to stick it out. We're still going to be married, but she does her thing and I'm doing mine. So, go get him and dapping him up. I don't see that happening. I don't. So that part, even though it's possible, maybe they did have the conversation, but I just don't see it being plausible. I just don't. It's possible, but I don't think it's plausible. And he just was saying all of these things in his interview and saying he needed to clear the air, he needed to speak his truth, and saying how difficult it was, and he really loved her, and he is an authentic person, and he has to be honest, and he feels good that even though maybe they're not in a relationship anymore, he has been able to love and experience love, so he's good at this point, and he even said, like, I'm good with life because I've already loved. And that's kind of sad. So I don't know what his upbringing was. It sounds like he has some parental issues, definitely mommy issues. It's something about when a young person, as a male like that, wants to really be in a relationship with an older woman, like in a full-blown relationship. Like apparently that's what he was expecting to happen. And it didn't happen. Now, Jada Pinkett Smith, she has made some admissions to some things. She never has come out and flat out said she's been unfaithful or that there's been any infidelity in her marriage, but she did say something along the lines of there were betrayals of the heart. And she said that it's made Will Smith feel abandoned. So they've had to redefine their marriage as a life partnership. And it's funny because these are her quotes. This is from her mouth. She said life partnership. And when August Alsina did this interview with Angela Yee, he was saying how they have this partnership now. It's not really a romantic relationship anymore. So there may be some truth that he and Will Smith had a conversation, but maybe there may be some misunderstanding in the words that were shared, because he and Will Smith may have had a conversation, but I don't think that Will Smith just said, you can have my wife and you two can have a relationship together. I don't see him saying that. But guys, I want to bring up something really quick, and I'm going to try not to go into too much detail with this, but Jada, she used to be the star of this show that came on the TNT network called Hawthorne. And I'm not one that really sits and watches a lot of television, especially primetime shows, but this show came on years ago. And I remember watching the show because I thought it was a really good show. She played a nurse in a hospital, and she played this role really well. Like, I really grew a higher respect for her as an actress when I saw this show and I saw this role that she was playing. But there was this season where Marc Anthony, who is Jennifer Lopez's ex-husband, he is a Latin singing artist, and he's also an actor. And he played a role on the show. He played a role as a detective. And there was this scene where she and Marc Anthony were getting down. And when I say getting down, you know exactly what I am talking about. Now, I'm going to say, I remember watching this show, and when I saw what they were doing, even though it was acting, it was just something that was like, this seems too real right now. It was like they were really, one, it looked like they were really doing some stuff, but two, not just on the camera, but it looked like they were really connected, and that this was not like a new experience for them to be this close together. That's what I was picking up. I'm pretty intuitive when it comes to, you know, things that are underlying, and a lot of times my intuition is correct. My spirit of discernment is pretty high. And I remember at the time I was watching that and I said, wow, like I was uncomfortable watching it because it really felt real, and it almost looked like she was cheating on her husband, even though she was acting, and even though on the show she wasn't married or anything like that, but it just looked really real. And then after that, there were these rumors that started coming out about how Will Smith paid a surprise visit to Jada Pinkett Smith. And this is all back like in 2011. So this was a long time ago, guys. And it's the rumor was that he popped up to pay a surprise visit to Jada, and he found her with Marc Anthony. And this was before the days of, you know, Twitter and Instagram and, you know, the different social media platforms like that. But I mean, TMZ was pretty big that back then, and TMZ is pretty accurate for the most part. But they reported that Will Smith paid a surprise visit and he found her with Marc Anthony. So the report claimed that he was becoming really suspicious that she was having an affair with the co-star Marc Anthony. So he secretly flew home from a movie shoot, and yeah, he found the two together. I remember seeing that and I said, wow, maybe my intuition was right. So there's a possibility that that was true, and that since that happened, that things were never really the same between Jada and Will. But they chose not to break up the marriage, and they chose to just stay together and make it work. But it is really crazy that this guy, the singer August Alsina, is coming out now and saying all of these things, and it would not be real. I believe that there's a lot of truth to what he is saying. I'm not saying that everything that he's saying is true, but I believe he just feels like, look, I don't have anything to lose at this point, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it all out there. And who knows, maybe she said something or did something to piss him off, and now he's like, you know what, I'm going for the jugular. We don't really know, but there's definitely more that can come out and may be coming out after all of this has, happened. So we shall see. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you feel that August is telling the truth? And do you feel that Jada is lying with the denials? Also, do you remember that show Hawthorne that she starred in on TNT? And do you remember her and Marc Anthony and them possibly having an affair? Do you remember that rumor from many years ago? And do you feel that Will Smith is just doing his own thing too, so they have an open relationship? You let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And guys, thank you so much for supporting this podcast. You can click the links in the description box. And also thank you so much for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, and hitting that notifications bell. This is the Minister of Beauty, here to share the Bible. That's business, inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. So until the next episode, have an amazingly blessed and beautiful day.